Archaeologists have just found the remains of Noah, the man who's built the infamous ark as mentioned in the Bible. Now, this new discovery has just found out the bones of Noah and his family all the way in Mount Ararat, which is the same place where the Ark of Noah is currently rested. Now, the bones that the archaeologists found is not any regular human bones. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the proof that we have just found about the remains of Noah.
The government of Turkey claims they have found the grave of Noah. This is a normal human thumb bone. Underneath is a giant human thumb bone.
This right here, it's just compared to like the original human thumb bone to like the Noah's thumb bone. It seems like he was a massive human in size.
This was found right near Mount Ararat.
That's just like this part of the bone right here, like this particular part. It's so huge compared to like Noah's bone. Like our bone is only so much, and Noah's bone is apparently this big, and it's just this tiny part of the bone, and that's what they're
Turkey.
They're basically just finding
People say
around
one
here.
man and 3 boys could not build a boat that big.
That's true.
Oh, you didn't see those boys. Hey, Bubba, bring me that tree, would you? There's a jawbone in a hotel in Turkey on display right now.
Wow, look at the jawbone difference. This is basically how the jawbone of Noah's looked like.
6.5 inches across.
So this is our human bone, and then this is Noah's jawbone, and this is like his sons and all that stuff. So there is a non-petrified human jawbone that was found in Turkey near the same
TMJs.
mountain.
Any one of you could put your head inside and rattle it back and forth inside the jawbone.
Wow.
The legend in Guam is that giant people built the latte stones there. Who is moving these giant rocks anyway?
That's true.
That's a camel in front of it for scale, folks.
So the camel is right over here, if you guys can see. This is how small or tiny the camel is, and we humans are like really small compared to that. Back in Noah's time, they used to move such huge rocks. It just seems very impossible in a very practical way if you think at it. You actually need some equipments, machineries, and all that stuff in order to move such heavy weights. But then back in those time, it seems like they very easily moved these things.
In Wasaki, Wisconsin, 100 years ago, giant skeletons were found in a burial mound. One of the skulls was 3 times the size of ordinary humans. In Walkertown, Indiana, 8 giants ranging from 8 to 9 feet long, all wearing heavy copper armor, were found. Through the bungling of the diggers and the disinterest of the museum establishment, the discoveries were scattered and lost. The Smithsonian has been very active in hiding discoveries about giants because it goes against the evolution theory. See, evolution says we started off tiny and we're getting bigger and better and stronger and smarter. I think the Bible indicates we started off bigger and we're getting smaller and weaker and dumber.
So yeah, obviously, the government wants us to believe that the evolution of us coming from apes was like the reality. But then the Bible obviously says, and there's even archaeological proof, like take pyramids, for example. Obviously, apes did not build those things. So if we just evolutionized from apes, then who the hell built those pyramids? Who the hell built all of these ancient archaeological evidence that we currently have? But then the Bible already says people who lived before us, like Noah and his family, and some of these ancient people from the scriptures, the Bible, Torah, and all those stuff, you know, these scriptures are actually real, and there are scientific and archaeological evidence that is currently present in order to back up all of those claims. But then there's nothing apart from us matching our DNA, which is kind of similar to the monkeys and apes. But apart from that, there's nothing in common between us and the monkeys. They have never evolutionized. We still have the chimpanzees, we still have the apes. It doesn't mean that they are evolutionizing or growing into something else even after all these years. They're still monkeys. They're dying monkeys, being born monkeys, and there's nothing different from them from many generations. So that's where the evolution theory that the government wants us to believe is just basically omitting all of these archaeological evidence that these great archaeologists have been finding that is related to the Bible. What's interesting is that this is exactly the same place in which the same man named Ron Wyatt, who's actually the archaeologist who also found the Noah's bones and his remains and his family's remains, as well as the same guy who also found the Ark of the Covenant, which seems to be resting all the way down below the mountain in which Jesus was crucified. So right beneath the mountain, he took permission from Israel and he started digging all the way deep inside. There is the box, which is the Ark of the Covenant that lies inside. Now, he's the same guy who also found Noah's Ark, which is resting in the Mount Ararat. Now, take a look at what Ron Wyatt has to say about the discovery that he's made.
We believe that God has preserved in the earth and under the seas remains of the major events discussed in the Bible. Physical remains, chemical remains, and things that you and I can see, feel, test, and in the case of Sodom and Gomorrah and its sulfur, even taste. These things have been preserved by divine power to a point in time when, by satellite TV relay systems and the ability to translate everything of interest into most everyone's language, these things can be shown to the inhabitants of the...
And somewhere right around this area, they also found the grave of Noah. So take a look at what he has to say about the grave of Noah.
Right off in this area were 2 grave markers, and we have those on film at home. I took them in 1977. Now, we made a little booklet and made sketches of all these things. And one of the people, a real good Christian, so I gave him one of these books. And finally he found somebody that knew where this was, paid them $400 to dig up Mrs. Noah's grave.
Mrs. Noah's.
And again, I have the description of the people that interrogated the guy that dug it up, and some of the folks that saw it as it migrated westward and was eventually sold for over $100 million on the black market.
Wow. So it seems like people, whoever dug the remains of Noah's wife, they actually sold the remains for like $100 million in the black market. I wonder what they're going to do with it. We never know what kind of intentions people basically have around the world. But yeah, it seems like they actually did get their hands on Noah's actual remains, and it was the same guy, Ron Wyatt. And this right here is like the gravestone, which was used on Noah's grave, basically.
Like this. It's as if God had preserved this piece for that very moment for them to see. And what's interesting about it, the Bible says that they used gopher wood.
Yes.
So it's like a very special kind of a wood, which even after thousands of years, it wouldn't just break off or like wouldn't crack and wouldn't just decompose.
We've discovered that this is laminated like plywood.
Yes.
Many thin layers put together, which would make it super strong.
If you look at it, it almost looks like they were making something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it looks like it was making some pins. Maybe they were pouring, maybe it was a wooden mold for steel pins or something.
So these were the equipments used in order to like build the Noah's Ark.
But
And
that's-
then we even have like a piece of that wood which was used in order to
Came
build
from
the
that
Ark,
side.
which is right there.
These are all petrified. This was the top of the boat.
Look at
And it's
that.
lighter color petrification.
Yes.
And you get to the bottom of the boat, and the metals made everything darker when it petrified.
That's crazy.
The
And then they end up finding the massive bone of Noah, which is way huge compared to humans.
And this
And
is
that's the remains that they've found so
this
far.
looks like the picnic.
Okay, this is when Ron entered the cave system, and when he first entered the Ark of the Covenant cave, the stalactite you see there was in the opening, and he broke it loose so they could crawl through that hole into the cave system. And that's the actual stalactite from the cave system. And it shows the type of material that's in the cave. It's very hard. It's limestone that's turned into this hard substance. This is the bones of someone that didn't turn to ash completely at Gomorrah.
So that's obviously Lot.
See, they
And
burned
his
up,
family.
but they didn't quite turn to ash. They preserved their bones. So that's what's left of someone from Gomorrah.
So this basically proves that there were survivors, and the survivors most probably that should most probably be Lot and his family. Obviously, his wife turned into a pillar of salt, and then the rest of them who actually survived, their remains, which is not really completely burned, but at the same time, it's kind of half burned. They're half dead, half alive. That's the kind of discovery that the archaeologists have officially made. And this basically proves that everything that we've read so far in the scriptures is actually real. And this right here is the gravestone, which is basically shown to you in the video just a couple of minutes ago. So this is the wooden material that was used in order to like create the whole cemetery of Noah's family. So they kind of just built this whole thing in, and they have a bunch of cross everywhere. We don't know why they have like these cross, but obviously Jesus came many years after, but still they had all of these cross that's like engraved into these wooden chips. So it's very bizarre to know that we actually have all of these artifacts that is now officially being found by archaeologists. And this just gives us a lot more evidence to prove that everything that we have known so far, everything that we've seen in the scriptures read, is actually true. And a lot of people, they really want science to scream that yes, it is true, and only then they're going to be believing it. But right now, it is very clear that science itself has now officially proven, and they've already found these things. And the reason why you're not going to be seeing these things in the mainstream media is because, one, the devil doesn't want you to know that these things are actually found. And obviously, if you know the truth, you're going to turn to God, and you're basically going to learn more about the Bible, the scriptures, and who knows, you might even end up changing your life for the good. And that's why, they just try to preserve you. They just mind washes using all of these social media, as well as everything that we see in like the media in general. It's nothing that's related to the real truth that they've found out there. They never get these things out in the news. You would never see these things. And the only way that you can know about these things are from influencers or channels that are like posting these things, digging into discoveries, documents, archaeological stuff, and spreading these messages out in the world. Very similar to what I'm doing right now. There are plenty of different channels that also do these things. And one of the greatest channel is the History Channel. They actually do post a lot of evidence and documentaries about this whole things. So you can learn a lot of these things from social media as well. So if you guys want to go ahead and share this video with many people, and for those people who actually laugh at the scriptures and they say that, well, I don't know if it's true or not, maybe we need more solid proof, then I think this video is just it. You should go ahead and share this video to as many people as you possibly can, because this is definitely going to help them figure out their faith, and they could finally, go ahead and read those scriptures and possibly just learn about God and the past and the history, whatever it is. So if you guys could just take your time, drop a like on this video and leave a comment, it just makes the YouTube algorithm to think that the people that watch the video are like more engaging and interested in this content. So the algorithm just pushes this video out to as many people as possible, so that more people, millions of people, should know about these discoveries. So if you guys could just take a few seconds of your valuable time and do me a favor and just share this video and drop a like and a comment, that would really mean a lot. You would do your absolute part in order to spread the word of God in the best way possible. Now, with that being said, I will love to hear what you guys think about this whole new discovery that they've just found out about Noah's Ark, as well as the Noah's remains and his wife's remains. And we also saw about the Lot's remains and his family. We also have all of those bones that are found. And one of the greatest discoveries of all time is that we literally have like the entire ship of Noah that is sitting on the mountain. I really want to go ahead and see what you guys have to say. If you know anything that you guys want me to share on my upcoming videos, you can always go ahead, give your suggestions, give your upcoming wish list for what kind of videos would you guys like to see on this channel. Please always feel free to go ahead and be absolutely free and be yourself in the comments. It doesn't really matter. No one's going to criticize you. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.